All right, let's get into it. So we are again reading Miss Tina Knowles.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Celestine and Beyonce, the government name. Like that was new for me. I didn't know her background that was her name, but better known as Miss Tina Knowles, also known as Badass Tina B. Look, if you read the book, you know about Badass Tina B.
Right.
Again, just a mother of Beyonce and Solange Knowles, the chorus superstars, um, uh, designer, stylist, businesswoman, entrepreneur, philanthropist. But now she's kind of giving us her firsthand account with her memoir, Matriarch, where she kind of just covers her childhood, being a mother, and also stepping into this new season of life where, kind of she's, kind of taking a back seat and really just kind of finding herself again after all the things that she's done with, Destiny's Child and just being a mother and raising some superstars and, being a wife and all those different things. So let's get into this book. Let's unpack it. Let's discuss it. Look, again, you love a good memoir over here. So I'm kind of excited to hear what you guys think about this book. So first question, you already know what it is. If you had to rate this book on a scale of 1 to 10, what would that be? And just overall, what did you think about this book? Like, I'm gonna let my good brother kick this show off, man. What did you think about this book, Matriarch by Miss Tina Knowles?
So, Miss Tina Knows, I kind of follow her a little bit on her Instagram story. So she always been like a pretty open book. But I think once I read this book, it just basically gives you an opportunity to just know her story more. She started out with the lessons of her childhood and just a history lesson of her family, how she raised her kids, how she was raised, and how she just played an important role with her daughter's career, despite not even receiving the credit that she deserves once she digs out into those details. And also, she just basically told many stories about her family, their experiences, but she also kept the privacy of, she didn't expose too much, but she just gave you her experience of how she, dealt with situations. And so, later on in the show, we're gonna get into, while I fell in love with this badass Teeny B. She was a rocking, she was a rocking person. I actually could roll with her then. You can also tell that she was actually carving out her future, at an early age for how she just basically handled through life. And just from the very first chapter, I felt like I was sitting at the feet of an elder. You can feel her patience, her hustle, her faith in God, her southern roots of when she was growing up in not Tennessee, but Louisiana and Texas. I just saw my mom in this book. I saw my aunties in this book. I saw the cities because I come from a small city as well. And these pages, and it just made it even more personable for me. I rate this book a 10 all across the board.
Okay. But boy, coming out strong for season 6 opener with a 10. Okay. Coming to Kimberly Lake next. So Isaiah, look, he giving it the 10. So what are your thoughts about this book? And if you had to rate it, what would that be?
I really enjoyed Miss Tina Knowles' book. I also follow her on Instagram. She's very active on social media. She posts a lot of funny stuff. So if you don't follow her, follow her. But I really enjoyed her book. I listened to it on Audible and she read it. She was very thorough. From childhood all the way to adulthood. I thought she was very transparent. She was an open book, and even like the details. Because I was thinking, like, if I had to write a memoir, I'm like, I don't know if I can remember all the details she was
Right.
remembering, but
Mm-hmm.
she was very detailed. I thought she did a great job telling her story, sharing her story, and I've realized that I love reading or listening to memoirs that I can kind of I know it like the time, like I grew up with Destiny's Child, so I can kind of relate to it. So I really enjoyed when I was listening to it. I was like, oh, I really enjoy memoirs where I can like relate to like the timeline. So
Mm-hmm.
I related to this timeline because me and Beyonce, we in the same age range. It's a launch. So it was cool to hear her side of the story because I saw growing up a certain thing presented to the public, but to
Mm-hmm.
get the behind the scenes workings of like her life and what's happening. Because I would see her interviews on the red carpet, but just to hear her story about her childhood up until now, I just thought it was really great.
Mm-hmm.
If I could rate this book, um, I actually would rate it. I know you, sorry, Chris, but I was gonna give it a 9.5 because I thought it was really great. So
Mhm.
I would recommend her memoir to anybody.
Look, I thought we left these little half ratings back
We
in
did.
season
We
five.
did
just
not.
round it up. It's a
We
10.
did not. We
You
did
gave it
not.
a 10.
Yeah,
You gave it a
you could
10.
just
You gave
round
it
it
a
up.
Just
10.
round it up. It's a
Yeah, you
Gave
10.
could
it
have
a
just
10.
rounded up
Said
to
I
a
get a 9. I
10.
feel good. 9.5.
Yeah, I thought we was on hold number for season 6. I guess not. So,
Mm-mm.
all right, coming to Laria next. What did you think about this book? And so again, Isaiah with a 10, Kim with a 9.5. What would you rate with this book, and what did you think about it?
I thought the book was absolutely amazing. I follow her as you all do on Instagram, but when I first started following her, she always posts a lot more, things that are more militant, more black power, different political things, injustices. And I didn't know she was like that until I started following her on Instagram. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, Miss Tina, I didn't know that. So
Mhm.
then when I read her book and knowing her backstory, and because when I was reading the book, I was thinking, I hope she didn't talk about Beyonce a lot of this book, but she really didn't. She put
Mhm.
her children in there, but it wasn't like the whole book. And
Mhm.
just hearing her backstory, her life, Matthew and all his stuff, going all the way through to
Whole bunch of
now.
stuff.
I
Whole bunch
mean,
of stuff.
it was like a saga. And a lot of the stuff that when I was first reading it, and I told my mom, before she passed, I said, Mom, you a lot like Beyonce's mama. Y'all both the youngest
Mhm.
child. Y'all both
Mhm.
real spitfire. Y'all always trying to fight somebody and acting up and but she
Mhm.
was just, and she's just an inspiration. I love her story of how she just, she got it out the mud. She just would be like, look, let me go on and do this. And Matthew is the same way. So of course, that's why we got a Beyonce because of that. So
Mhm.
I enjoyed the book. I loved it. I think it was excellent. And I give it a 9.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think it's something about a memoir or like a biography where you can really kind of connect with the person. So
Mhm.
whenever you know something about them, it's more relatable. But again,
Mhm.
to get that kind of intimate knowledge and in-depth kind of firsthand account, I think is even more appealing. And so, of course, we know Tina Knowles, being the mother of Beyonce,
Mhm.
and Solange, and even just her just being a public figure within Destiny's Child and just all that stuff. And she hides behind the scenes, but she kind of pops out from time to time. So we're
Mhm.
familiar with her in some regard, but to get this more in-depth knowledge and kind of account was kind of refreshing for me. I mean, I guess I'm the only one that didn't follow, Tina Knowles. So I wasn't very familiar with her and her personal life. Again, I kind of know of her just from the legacy and just the lineage of her kids and what they've done, and even her grandkids at this point. But I was really intrigued by hearing her story again, just to get that behind the scenes, that kind of firsthand account, even hearing her background of growing up, that Louisiana, that Texas, Galveston, and just kind of hearing her,
Mhm.
even some of the things that she's gone through, in life to get to where she is, and even to get her children to where they are,
Mhm.
was very
Mhm.
intriguing and interesting for me. So, uh, as y'all mentioned, she didn't really talk about Beyonce and Solange too much, or even Destiny Child for that matter. I would, I was low key wanting a little more tea. I wanted to know kind of some more in depth.
What tea?
Look, what happened to the first Destiny Child? Like, I wanted to know. Look,
That's for Beyonce's memoir.
yeah, she ain't hit
Yeah. Oh
on
Definitely got to
that.
yeah.
do
Yeah.
that.
Look, she ain't talk about the elevator with Beyonce, Jay, and Solange. Like, I was,
Oh,
No, she
she would have sold
didn't.
millions. The elevator.
Millions if she would have talked about that.
The
yeah,
elevator.
but even just again touching on her childhood and the things that she's done, businesswoman, very accomplished. I was clueless. I didn't know that much about her, so it's very refreshing for me to kind of hear her story and kind of get that account firsthand. So I thoroughly enjoyed the book. If I had to rate it, I think I'm gonna follow my sis on this one. I'm gonna go with a 9 as well. It was a good book, good read. Just really hear her story, and what she's gone through to support her children. Even trying to be a supportive wife, and we'll kind of dig into that a little deeper because I didn't know I thought I knew about Matthew, but I didn't know he had this long history. Like Matthew's been out here.
He been out here for a while.
I mean, from like day one. I thought this was like a recent,
Right.
thing, but no, Matthew been out here. He been out here Nolan for a while, boy. I'm telling you, he's been into it for a minute. So again, I rated a 9. Great story, great selection. Again, we love memoirs over here. So, and if you guys are listening or watching, we would love to hear your rating as well. So drop that in the comments and let us know what your rating would be of Matriarch by Miss Tina Knowles. So